not sure if you can tell or not, but see how my right bicep rounds off right there, just like that. Now look at my left bicep and how it doesn't round off quite the same. It has a gap right there, and it used to not be like that. It used to round off just like my right one. Being a former bodybuilder, I wasn't a narcissist or anything. At least I don't think I was. I wasn't one of those guys that was constantly looking in the mirror checking out my muscles. But I was pretty aware of my body and my muscles, because being a bodybuilder, you're constantly working on refining and building certain muscles to make sure that your body's symmetrical and that you present well when you're on stage. And back then, both of my biceps were symmetrical, but not anymore, because I tore this left bicep about 2.5 to 3 months ago. And here's how it happened. I reached down just like this to go and just kind of lift it, and then when I did, that's when it said pop, pop, pop. Yeah, perfect timing, Rooster. That's when it happened. And when that happened, I was like, and I was like, oh no, don't roll up into my arm. But thankfully, it wasn't a complete tear in this one. Just, I think the tearing happened right in here. And since it wasn't a complete tear, I didn't have to have surgery. But man, my arm was swollen from my shoulder all the way to my fingertips. And then the next day, discoloration started kicking in. And it was painful, but when it happened, it wasn't as painful as I thought that something like that would be. But what happened was, I also think I was going into shock because I was getting nauseous, and it was just like, oh no, I can't believe this is happening to me. I can't believe I tore my bicep. It was kind of tough to deal with. Now my arm did ache, and it was really, really painful if I tried to use it. And let me tell you, one time one of the kids bumped into it, and man, I went to the floor in pain. Whew. And I'm usually not one to take pain relievers. So especially like over-the-counter pain relievers, try not to do any of that, or prescription ones, try not to do any of that. So I try to limit that. Now, I do take more natural things like arnica as well as CBD oil. CBD helps me with pain as well as anxiety. Doesn't really help me with sleep like it does some people. And I take Met Natural's full spectrum CBD tincture. But with my injury, I was kicking up the dosage with that, as well as taking their CBD gummies, just to do whatever I could to keep the pain down and not have to take anything else. On top of the tincture, as well as the gummies, I also rubbed on their topical CBD cream, which we have used for quite some time now, and we really like it. And not too long ago, Lacey and I did a test from Met Naturals to analyze how our bodies respond to CBD oil and things like that.
And the kit is a DNA collection test kit. All we did was swab the inside of our mouths, put that back in the mail, and send it off to their laboratories. And then we received our results via email. So we got Mike's back right here, personal CBD report. And whenever you scroll through, it talks about what CBD is and how it works. And this report, it just goes through just some specific things just for CBD. Like this one, it tells you how you metabolize CBD. And all of these things below are explained, and it tells you, so okay, Mike falls in the normal range. And this means this is a favorable genotype, which increases your likelihood of having success with CBD. And so there's that, and then there's one about systematic inflammation, and if you're normal or above average, and Mike is normal, and it just goes and it really lays all the stuff out and explains things to you, like your sleep duration, your likelihood to get normal amount of sleep per night. Now, these don't mean that that's exactly what your body is doing. It just means genetically you're predisposed to these things. And so it gives you a better idea of how these things are expressed in your body.
At least in my body. Yes.
And here are all the other ones that you get back from the test results. So this one, CBD, and there's a Renew, a Nutrient, Perform, Slim, and all these things tell you different things. Like we'll go to the Perform one. Scroll down here.
And what does this one show about me?
Well, I don't think this one's exactly right. Intrinsic motivation to exercise is less likely is whatever it says. But that's definitely not you. But this just goes to show you that your genes may say one thing, but how they're expressed are totally different things. There's much more to your genes and how they're turned on and off, and to your environmental stressors, and also your food and things like that. So this is a good place to kind of look at, for me anyway, and see where it's not just because you have this doesn't mean that's how it is.
Basically to get an understanding of what things you're going to be working with or fighting against within your body.
Yeah. Like if you know,
so,
see my...
I think that's kind of right. Because even though I stay active, doesn't mean that there's not days where I need some motivation. We all do it sometimes. So I guess I have average testosterone, grip strength, normal.
I can believe this right here.
Carb utilization.
The carb utilization, because you can just blow through some carbs. They doesn't even do anything to you. And the caffeine metabolism, that might be right too.
So what does that mean? I have a tough time with caffeine?
Yes. It means that it has more of an effect on you because you don't metabolize the caffeine out of your system as fast.
I do agree with that because I'm real sensitive to coffee. Sometimes it puts me over the edge and it feels like my nervous system's just out of control.
So, and then there's things like lactose intolerance, and Mike is unlikely to be lactose intolerant, which makes sense because he could drink a gallon of milk a day by himself and he would be totally fine. And on mine, it actually says that I probably am lactose intolerant, which that actually may be because sometimes I have a problem with dairy.
Yes, I do love me some milk.
As great as all this information is, it's really not a must-have. I find one of the best ways to see if it worked for you is to try it yourself. And Met Naturals has this great intro bundle. It's already discounted, but you can use the code FITFARMER and save another 10% on it. And I really like all these products in this bundle.
And if you want some more information on their products after watching this video, check out the link in the show notes below. But right after injuring my arm, I really couldn't do anything with my left arm. And my left arm is my dominant hand. And it was weird as I'm sitting down, getting ready to eat that first meal, thinking, I don't know what to do. I normally use my left hand to feed myself, but I'm gonna have to use my right hand. And it felt really weird to feed yourself with your non-dominant hand. I don't know how many of you normally feed yourself with your non-dominant hand, but if you haven't tried it, try it, because it's definitely awkward. But with having a farm here, there are so many things that need to be done on a daily basis, and I couldn't do them. But thankfully, my daughter Selah has been taking on more and more the past couple of years. And this year, she's taking a bigger role in the garden. And the okra that she's been growing this year is like the best we've ever grown here. It's like huge and doing fantastic. The plants are all big and bushy and producing very well.
There we are.
And with my injury, I needed her help even more. So Selah, in addition to my wife Lacey and our farm helper Anna, really helped me out a lot during my injury. Alright, my strong ladies, I appreciate y'all's help out here. Can y'all help me out one other thing? Since y'all have all these muscles. Yeah, muscles.
I'm very muscular. So buff. So buff. I don't have as many muscles as I used to.
Alrighty. Y'all are strong though. Strong farm girls.
So strong. The strongest.
If y'all could help me with the one that I got hurt on. Like I'm
Got
telling you,
you
look how light this is.
It's so light. But like you must have just moved your arm
I just
right,
went
the
down
wrong
and
way.
I was
mean like
somewhere
this?
maybe like right there.
Whoa, this is easy.
I know, you about to do it, Mike.
You
So,
just moved your arm the wrong way or something.
yeah.
Okay, well let us help you. Want us to help. This is like typical you. He's like, help me guys, and he does it all himself.
Superior strength there, Sayla. Whoa! You about did that with their pinky. Thank you.
And this is arm strength. Right here. Arm strength.
Very strong.
Yeah, you showing off those guns? Yeah, you might be able to lift it up by yourself in a couple years. And it's been really neat to see how Sayla and Anna, how they have developed a really close friendship and have a lot in common and have even become besties during the time that they have spent helping me out and working together here on the farmstead. We're doing piggyback rides, showing off your strength now?
Okay, now put me down. I want to fall with you, Sayla.
No, it would not be good.
I can feel you like
Can you do
lower. I'm like, oh, don't tip me over.
Can you do Sayla now?
Yeah, I could. Yes, you can. Hold on, Charles.
Where were you going?
Sayla, hold on.
I'm gonna tip you over. Playing leapfrog.
Sayla.
Watch out, Micah.
Your legs up. Here, let's go to the table. It'll be easier that way.
They're crazy.
Tall. I'm taller.
Now I am, I guess. Now that it conveniences you.
There we go.
Alright. Yeah, Micah.
And I'm so thankful for those girls. They would help with giving feed and water to my chickens and ducks. And with Sayla being older now and stronger, she's fully capable of moving the chicken tractors all by herself. But not only help me with the chickens, they also help me with the ducks and many other things. And those two girls are usually the ones who help me out the most when it comes time to process or harvest chickens and ducks and even turkeys. Now, my 8-year-old Micah usually helps too, but it's primarily me and the girls. Now, normally at our butchering times, I don't need the girls to help me out with loading up the birds into our transport crate to be transported over to our processing station. But with my injury, I wasn't able to gather the birds up at night like I normally do. So right before we harvested them, the girls had to help me out with loading the birds into the transport crate.
They're just fat. Watch your wings. No, Brian.
And of course, I had to injure my arm at the time that chickens and ducks had to be processed, because when things have to be done, things have to be done. The girls helped me out tremendously, but just because I had their help and I couldn't use my left arm didn't mean that I wasn't going to do anything. No, I'm not the type of person to just not do anything. So I did what I could to help them out with my right arm. And I was also actually able to man my station, which is the dispatch station, when we processed the chickens and ducks. Now, I will admit that my arm was pretty sore and very weak after doing all that. Especially at the end of the day when the swelling and things kicked back in. Yeah, wasn't fun. But I'm also thankful that other members of my family picked up my slack too. My oldest Josiah helped me with other tasks like picking up feed bags at the store, and he helped me with getting feed at our local feed mill, where we normally get a number of bags for our chickens and ducks that are egg layers as well as meat birds. And he also helped me with picking up hay bales. And I know it pushed him sometimes. Come on, you got it. There we go. Now, I did help him with my right arm a time or two, loading some bales in, but he got a couple of them in all by himself. Come on, you can do it. Come on, let's see it. See that strength. Strength of the bear tap in there. Good job. Come on. 3 more. But let me tell you, since my injury, my non-dominant hand, my right hand here, has gotten a lot stronger because I've had to do a lot of things with just my right arm. And when I injured my bicep, I tore the short head here. There's 2 heads two heads. You got the long and then you have the short. And the short one here really helps, or mainly does, curling motion with your palm up. And I really couldn't do that early on. The only thing I discovered that I could really do, I was gradually able to figure out that I could do motions where I did a hammer curl motion with picking things up. Couldn't do this, but I could do that. So I gradually was able to work up with doing things like weed eating with my hammer curl motion in my arm, primarily concentrating on keeping good form and not letting my hand turn, because that's when the pain would happen whenever I would do that. But with the limited motion, I wasn't able to weed eat long. And Micah has just been begging me to the point of crying at times to learn to weed eat. So I was like, now is an ideal time for you to learn, since I can't go weed eating a lot. So I gave him his first lesson with learning to weed eat. Alright, gear up with your ear protection. Got it? Actually put your eye protection on first, then your ear protection. Yep. Yep, there you go. Eyes and ears, and nose and mouth. Also, I want you to, as you're doing it, you're just going to go back and forth, gradually working away at it. Okay? Alright, start it up, put it on choke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and... And overall, he did a really good job, and I really appreciated his enthusiasm in wanting to learn to weed eat. But I do think it was a little bit harder than he thought it was going to be. So with trying to rehab my arm and gradually get back to normal life and do things like I would normally do, in addition to modifying things so that I could do it, I would also do rehab exercises like with resistance bands, which is pretty humbling to know that I was able to curl 50+ pound dumbbells in each hand, no problem. But now I've digressed because of the injury to doing resistance bands. Oh man, it is what it is, part of the rehab process. And I also used our H-Wave on my arm to speed up healing and increase blood flow to the arm to help with that. An H-Wave unit is a medical device used for therapeutic electrical stimulation, designed to help with pain management and rehab. The unit sends low frequency, high altitude electrical waves to target areas of the body to stimulate muscles and nerves. And this stimulation promotes increased blood flow, reduces inflammation, and helps to alleviate pain. And in addition to the H-Wave, I also went to my chiropractor to see what he could do to help me, because in addition to my arm, my bicep, I was also having issues in my neck and my shoulder from just holding my arm weird and differently and shifting my body to try to protect it. So in addition to adjusting me, which he actually had trouble adjusting my elbow because of my bicep, he also did acupuncture on me. And each week I was gradually able to do more and more. But do you want to know what the hardest thing to do for me was? Was to carry, feed, and water buckets. Let me tell you, boy, man, it just felt like it just wanted to snap each time I did it. But I gradually just trying to be smart, but also trying to make progress. I would just carry the buckets a little bit of ways and the rest little bit of ways and rest as I'm gradually trying to build that strength back up. And also pouring feed from the bucket into their feeders. That was a challenge too at first. We gradually have been working on that as well. Now, I didn't tell my wife this until after I did it, but there was a couple times that I pushed myself a little bit more than she probably would have wanted me to. I bet at this point, some of you who watch my videos a lot are like, see, Mike, that's how you get hurt. Sometimes it is. But gradually, week by week, my arm kept getting a little bit stronger, and strong enough to be able to handle my day-to-day chores. And even got to the point where I could even handle some of the challenges, like when our chicks got out of the chicken tractor. Man, this area of the pasture is our first time coming in here, and it's so uneven ground. It's hard to tell because the way the grass is, all the different spots. So the number of gaps, like right here, they were just getting out once the grass is down. All right, so I got to get the tractor out of here as we're trying to put them back in and run around at the same time. Alright guys, let's round up the loose ones. And now I'm back to the point where I can do all my normal chores by myself for the most part. I'm not back to full strength at all. Still have a ways to go with that. But I've come a long way from where I was. One of the toughest things, because it's been tough emotionally. Let me tell you, 2024 has just been not my best year for sure. Dealt with a number of injuries. We've had a number of problems here on the farmstead with all kinds of things inside the house as well as outside the house just breaking. It's been a challenging year for a long list of reasons, and tearing my bicep definitely has been rough. It's been rough. I still remember right after tearing it, little Hezekiah wanted me to pick him up. I just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it, especially the first couple days. I couldn't pick him up because I needed both arms to pick him up now, because he's like 25, 30 pounds, something like that. Just couldn't do it. Then I gradually worked to where I could pick him up, just hold him with my right arm. I was like, all right, we can just hold you with my right arm. But man, it's been challenging. It's been challenging. Well, we do know that all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to His purpose. Just try to keep that in mind. And ask you to keep me in your prayers that I make a full recovery and get my full strength back in this arm. It's still, like the bicep part, it doesn't hurt really anymore. It does still feel weird in there if I'm touching it and it's got a knot there, but my elbow on the opposite side still has soreness. Just, I guess, things trying to figure things out from the injury. So, other than that, we're moving forward. So, hoping for and praying for full recovery, full strength back. See you next time.